Guys, 219 Tiger here. I hope everybody is doing well. And so I want to talk about what happened with my friend. And his death was all of a sudden. We didn't see any signs. Nobody knew that he was that far down. And it's, like I said, it happened out of nowhere. Those who knew who he was, knew he was an upbeat, outgoing, laid back, generally happy person. He's good-hearted. But he was also one of them people that didn't talk about his feelings much. You could ask him what's wrong, and he'd be like, nothing. And you kind of believed it. He played that role very well. And I say role, because I don't know what else to call it. We didn't know that he was battling depression. We didn't know he felt that far down. And this was all of a sudden. This was all of a sudden. This was something that came out of nowhere. And none of us saw it coming until the aftermath. And it has had an effect on a lot, because he was a good person. It's had an effect on all of us. And it's something that, I wish, his family wishes, a bunch of his friends wish that he would have said something, that he was feeling a certain way. And it's hard, and a lot of it was, that he always was that stoic, strong provider, caretaker. He played that role to a T, and because, growing up, you're taught as a man to be strong, show zero emotion, don't let them see you cry, don't show a softer side to you, you have to be strong and stoic and bottle everything up. And that's exactly what he did. And because that's what society has said men have to be. And there's that stigma with that. But it's hard to see a good person feel like that was their only way out. And because there's still somewhat that stigma with mental illness, and there's, like I said, it's just society makes you believe that if, that again, that, you have to bottle everything up, and I wanted to make this awareness because that he's not the only person that thinks that way. There are a lot of men that think that way. And I don't agree with society on this one. there's a lot of shit men have to deal with. You know, because I've heard some girls say, oh, men have it so easy. And I'm not saying women don't have it hard, but men have it just as hard. They're not hard because society wants us to be a certain way. And, you know, that type of modern thinking has taken a toll, and, you know, we've lost a lot of great men because of it. You know, and it's something that kind of really needs to be addressed more, because like it's something that, you know, we're taught not to open up, and that's something that, you know, with the stigma, with the trolls, because the trolls don't know either. You know, we have to play that part. Yeah, we're fine. Because that's what society dictates. And I think more and more and more it needs to be addressed. Because how is that okay? Because you don't realize it until it's too late. And it seems like nowadays, nobody cares unless you're famous or dead. People make a big deal about something after the fact. Why do we have to wait for something to happen? Like, why are we waiting for something to happen? Like, this is something that should be continued to be addressed. And it's, you know what I mean? Because, like, it's sad, to say the least, and because it's hard to find the words so much to say this. And this was something that actually came out of nowhere. You know, and you may have a friend out there that sadly it may come out of nowhere. And you're left sitting there, did I miss something? Because I have sat here. Was there a sign I missed? Why didn't I see this coming? Why didn't I know? And you tend to beat yourself up over it. And sometimes there's not, and I've learned sometimes there's not any signs at all. Because there are people who are good at masquerading, who are good at burying their feelings. And it's scary. Because you never, ever know. Because you truly never know what somebody is battling. And this is why I constantly say this. That we need to be kind to one another. We really do. Because now and tomorrow is never given. And we just never know these days. And life is short. You know, so this is why I wanted to say something about this, because I get to sit down and say something about this. Because like I said, like, you know, this came out of nowhere. And it's hard. know these days. You know, that kind word might be the last thing that person heard. Do I doubt that he doubted that he was loved? I don't know. Because we all made sure that he knew he was loved and cared about. What I'm saying is don't take your friends or family for granted. Because you never know. Because tomorrow's never given. And it shouldn't take for it to hit home for you to start caring. But I'm gonna end this video here. Stay strong. Stay lucid. And remember, love is louder. And I'll see you guys next video. I love you guys. Please be kind to one another. Because life is too short. See you guys.